Welcome back, everyone. If you own a Nintendo Switch, or just grabbed a Switch 2, you are in for one of the best years gaming has had in a long time. We've got remakes, new IPs, long-awaited sequels, pretty much everything. Let's get into it. Final Fantasy Resonance is the very first Final Fantasy game built in the HD 2D style. You know, that pixel art meets 3D look that Square Enix has been using in Octopath Traveler and Triangle Strategy. This time, they asked themselves, what if Final Fantasy kept evolving as pixel art and never went full 3D? And this is the answer to that question. The story follows Rain, a knight from the kingdom of Grandshelt, along with his brother Laswell and a mysterious girl named Fina. Their world is built around crystals that keep everything in balance, and a dark force is out to destroy them. Classic Final Fantasy setup done right. Combat is turn-based with a modern twist. You exploit enemy weaknesses to stagger them, opening up powerful resonance attacks. You can also summon visions, which are echoes of beloved Final Fantasy characters like Cloud and Tidus, who join your party in battle. The world has airships, chocobos, espers, moogles, all the good stuff. Tales of Eternia Remastered. This one originally came out back in 2001 on PlayStation, and a lot of people have never had a chance to play it. The story follows Reed Herschel and his childhood friend Farron Orsted, living a normal life in their world of Inferia, until they meet a girl who speaks a language neither of them understands. Trying to figure out who she is and where she came from leads them to a devastating discovery. Two worlds, Inferia and Celestia, are on a collision course. If they don't do something, both worlds get destroyed. That's the Great Fall, and stopping it is the entire mission. The combat is action-based, real-time battles where you chain attacks and spells together across your party. The remaster keeps the original feel intact, but adds modern quality-of-life stuff like destination icons, a toggle to disable random encounters, high-speed auto-battle mode, and the ability to switch between remastered visuals and the original look whenever you want. Castlevania is back in a big way. This is the first traditional 2D Castlevania in the main timeline since Order of Ecclesia in 2008, almost 20 years. Developed by Evil Empire and Motion Twin, the team behind Dead Cells and Rogue Prince of Persia, the game stars Rose Belmont, a young successor to Trevor Belmont, armed with the legendary vampire killer whip. The setting is Paris in 1499, and the city has been overrun by monsters that crawled out of the darkness. She has to fight through burning streets and a looming castle to hunt them down. The gameplay is a side-scrolling action exploration title, very much in the Metroidvania tradition. What's exciting about the combat is that the whip works similarly to Super Castlevania 4. You can swing it freely in multiple directions and even use it to swing across gaps. There's also a new Arcana system, where you seal the souls of defeated bosses into tarot cards, which unlock unique spells and traversal abilities. Vanillaware is one of those studios that makes games that look like paintings brought to life. And Muramasa is arguably their most visually stunning work. Originally out on Wii in 2009, and then on PlayStation Vita as Muramasa Rebirth in 2013, this game is finally coming back, with every piece of content included and upgraded for modern platforms. The story is actually told through multiple characters. The base game follows Momohime, a princess possessed by a swordsman's spirit, and Kisuke, a rogue ninja who lost his memories. On top of that, the 4 Genroku Legends DLC stories from the Vita version are included: Arashimaru, Gonbei, Okoi, and Rajaki, each with their own unique arcs and playstyles. You run through gorgeous feudal Japan settings, slashing through enemies with katanas in incredibly fluid 2D combat. You collect cursed demon blades that give you different abilities and skills, and you can carry multiple blades and switch between them mid-fight. Call of Duty hasn't been on a Nintendo console since 2013 on the Wii U, and now Modern Warfare 4 is coming to Switch 2 on the same day as PlayStation and Xbox. Developed by Infinity Ward, the campaign puts you in the boots of Private Park, a young South Korean soldier who gets thrown straight into live combat when North Korea launches a surprise full-scale invasion. You're fighting on collapsing front lines, through burning cities and desperate counterattacks, experiencing war from the ground level. Meanwhile, Captain Price is running his own off-the-books mission in the shadows, hunting the people behind the invasion. The two storylines are on a collision course. The campaign is described as the darkest Modern Warfare has ever been, grounding everything in military authenticity and the real history and culture of the region. Resident Evil Veronica is a full remake of the year 2000 game Resident Evil Code Veronica, widely considered one of the most underrated entries in the whole series. The story follows Claire Redfield, who has been captured and imprisoned on Rockfort Island, a remote prison run by the Umbrella Corporation. A viral outbreak hits the island, and suddenly, Claire is fighting for her life while trying to escape. Her brother Chris eventually comes into the picture as well. The remake is built on Capcom's RE engine, the same engine behind the remakes of RE2, RE3, and RE4. So expect over-the-shoulder gameplay, modernized controls, and that RE engine level of visual detail and tension. The story is being reimagined for modern audiences, while preserving the essence of the original. It was announced at Summer Game Fest 2026 and is one of the most anticipated horror games on the horizon. No exact date yet, but it's confirmed for 2027. Crystal Dynamics and Flying Wild Hog are remaking the very first Tomb Raider from 1996, not the 2013 survival reboot, the original classic Lara Croft adventure. Built from scratch on Unreal Engine 5, Legacy of Atlantis takes Lara on a globe-trotting hunt for a powerful ancient artifact called the Scion, scattered across locations in Peru, Greece, Egypt, and a mysterious Mediterranean island. The core premise is the same as the original, but the whole experience has been rebuilt with modern gameplay, new mechanics layered into classic puzzles, and fully cinematic presentation. Iconic moments from the original, like the legendary T-Rex encounter, have been transformed into full-on epic gameplay set pieces, described as cinematic in scale. The team promises new surprises alongside familiar elements, honoring the spirit of the 1996 game, while doing things that simply weren't possible back then. Developed as a true remake, not a remaster, this one's different from everything else on the list. Hello Kitty Party Land is published under Bandai Namco and is the first ever Sanrio Games title to hit Nintendo consoles. It's a party game featuring over 145 characters from the Sanrio universe. Hello Kitty, Cinnamoroll, My Melody, and the whole lineup. You can play solo or with friends, with both single-player and multiplayer modes built in. It's launching on both Switch and Switch 2 on October 29th, right in the Halloween window. Nintendo's library works best when there's something for everyone. Competitive games, JRPGs, horror titles, and also games for families and younger players. Hello Kitty Party Land fills that casual, fun party game slot in the 2026 calendar. And it's the first time Sanrio has made a real move into console gaming. Worth knowing about. Ubisoft is remaking one of the greatest platformers ever made, and they're going bigger than a simple visual upgrade. Rayman Legends Retold rebuilds the classic 2013 game in 3D, with a completely new story, a mysterious sixth realm, a new villain, fully voiced cinematics, and an expanded musical score. 4 brand new music-themed levels are added on top of the original content. The beloved Kung Foot mode is back in a revamped form. You can play solo or with up to 4 players in local or online co-op, and GameShare lets you play with someone nearby without a second copy. Ubisoft confirmed 60 frames per second on Switch 2 and content parity with other platforms. The original Rayman Legends had some of the most creative level design and music integration in platforming history. Adding a full 3D remake layer to that foundation is a bold call. October 1st, the first brand new Spyro game in 18 years. Toys for Bob, the studio behind the Spyro Reignited trilogy and Crash Bandicoot 4, built a completely original adventure in a brand new open world. Spyro gets stranded in a strange realm and must make new allies while fighting off an invading force called the Scavs to protect the realm and find a way home. The major new feature is full dragonflight, real, free-roaming aerial traversal where you soar over vibrant landscapes, weave between treetops, dive off landmarks, and chain aerial moves together to navigate naturally. Tom Kenny, the original voice of Spyro, is back. Announced at the Xbox Games Showcase 2026, it's coming to Switch 2 alongside other platforms in spring 2027. Toys for Bob have always understood what made Spyro work: the whimsy, the tone, the freedom. And this looks like they've pushed it forward in a meaningful way. Deltarune Chapter 5. Toby Fox announced this one during the June Direct, dropping 2 weeks later as a completely free update if you already own the game. Deltarune is Undertale's parallel story, following Chris, a human who keeps falling into mysterious, dark worlds, alongside classmates Susie and a prince named Ralsei, who tasks them with sealing dark fountains threatening both worlds. The tone shifts constantly between genuinely funny and emotionally hitting in ways that few games manage. Combat is the signature mix of bullet hell dodging and turn-based choices you decide whether to fight or spare enemies in every encounter. Chapter 5 shows the group in a temple-like area with new enemies, new story beats, and minigame segments. The trailer also teased Chapter 6, so the journey continues beyond this. Chapters 1 and 2 are free. The full, paid game, including everything from Chapter 3 forward, is $24.99. Rise of the Tomb Raider. Aspyr shadow dropped this during the June Direct, announced and available the same day. Rise of the Tomb Raider, 20-year celebration sends Lara into the Siberian wilderness, chasing the lost city of Kitez and a source of immortality called the Divine Source, while a brutal paramilitary organization called Trinity hunts her down. The gameplay mixes stealth, combat, crafting, and puzzle-filled optional tombs across a massive snowy open world. This edition is the full package: all Season Pass content, all DLC, previously platform-exclusive outfits and weapons, all 35 expansion cards, and the Extreme Survivor difficulty. It's $29.99 on the Switch 2 eShop with a launch discount. 2 entries in the Survivor trilogy are now on Switch 2 thanks to Aspyr. The first Tomb Raider Definitive Edition dropped last November, and now this. Shadow of the Tomb Raider seems like the next logical step. Dragon Quest Monsters: The Withered World. The newest Dragon Quest Monsters entry stars Bianca and Nira from Dragon Quest V, a surprising and exciting choice. The core loop is exactly what the series is built around. Explore the world, scout and recruit monsters, from iconic slimes to brand new creatures. Then, combine them through the signature synthesis system to create entirely new companions. The depth in synthesis gives you hundreds of hours of experimentation. Strategically, building the right team and knowing what each creature brings to a fight matters a lot. There's a big world to explore, and the monster variety looks impressive. It launches on both the original Switch and Switch 2 on December 3rd, simultaneously, one of the last big releases of 2026. For fans of monster collecting and team-building RPGs, this is a substantial new entry in a series that always delivers. Dragon Quest XII: Beyond Dreams. Square Enix announced this one on Dragon Quest Day, May 27, 2026, during the series' 40th anniversary celebrations. The game was previously revealed as Dragon Quest XII: The Flames of Fate, but development was fully restarted under a new structure and came back with a new title, Beyond Dreams, and a fresh logo. Yuji Horii and executive producer Yosuke Saito shared messages alongside in-development gameplay footage. No platforms or release date have been confirmed yet, but given how committed Square Enix has been to Switch 2 with their full lineup, this one is absolutely on the radar for the platform. The restart in development suggests they're reaching for something significantly more ambitious than the original vision. No other details are known at this point, but Dragon Quest XII is one of the most watched upcoming JRPGs in the industry right now. Stay tuned. Stellar Blade. Shift Up confirmed this, and it's the most exciting third-party ports of the year. Stellar Blade was already considered one of PS5's best action games, and now it's coming to Switch 2 before the year is out. You play as Eve, a soldier sent from a human colony in space down to a devastated Earth on a mission to reclaim the planet from a monstrous species called the Naytiba. What starts as a straightforward mission unravels into something much more complicated as Eve pieces together the truth about what really happened to humanity. The combat is fast and precise, built around stylish offense combined with tight parry windows, demanding but very satisfying to master. There are RPG elements and a small survivor settlement to rebuild alongside the main story. No specific date yet for Switch 2, but confirmed for this year. One to watch. Orbitals is a Switch 2 exclusive from Japanese indie studio Shape Farm, published by Kepler Interactive, and it might be the most charming game on this entire list. It's a 2-player co-op adventure with a beautiful retro 90s anime art style, the kind that makes you stop and just stare at the screen. You and a partner play as Maki and Omura, 2 explorers heading into space on a desperate mission to save their station home from a supernatural cosmic storm. Together, you explore dangerous caverns, pilot a spaceship through asteroid fields, take on unique minigames, and solve every obstacle using both of your abilities. The whole game is designed around 2 players locally, with Joy-Con 2 through GameShare or online. It's been compared to It Takes Two in spirit, not gameplay, but in that same built-for-2 people design philosophy. September 3rd. Metaphor: ReFantazio. From the creative team behind Persona 3, 4, and 5 comes one of the best JRPGs of recent years, now hitting Switch 2 on November 12th. Metaphor ReFantazio became Atlus's fastest-selling game ever when it launched in 2024. You're in the fantasy kingdom of Uchronia, thrown into chaos after the king's assassination. Your goal is to enter the royal tournament to determine the next ruler while trying to break a curse on the kingdom's prince. You travel the land recruiting allies, managing time between dungeon crawls and social activities, and unlocking archetypes, a job system fueled by inner strength. Combat blends real-time action with turn-based strategy. The storytelling, music, and visual style are extraordinary. A limited Steelbook edition is confirmed for Switch 2 at launch. This is a massive game, dozens of hours, and well worth every minute. Alien Isolation 2. 12 years after the original terrified everyone, Creative Assembly and Sega made it official at Summer Game Fest 2026. Alien Isolation 2 is confirmed for Switch 2. The original is one of the greatest horror games ever made, and the sequel takes it to Kurosaki Station, a Weyland-Yutani outpost on a storm-battered colony planet. Dark woodlands, crash sites, and driving rain replace the corridor horror of Sevastopol. A new protagonist, new story, and new tools are required to survive the xenomorph, which is smarter and more terrifying than before. The reveal trailer from Summer Game Fest 2026 is labeled pre-alpha. No release window confirmed, but 2027 is the general expectation. It's early days, but the foundation of the original was so strong that even a cautious first look is enough reason to be genuinely excited for what's coming. The entire Kingdom Hearts saga, natively on Switch 2, no cloud streaming. This is the definitive way to experience a series on Nintendo hardware. The collection includes Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 Remix, Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, and Kingdom Hearts 3 plus Remind DLC 10. Full experiences covering every major chapter from Sora's very first adventure through the end of the Xehanort saga. Save data from the old Switch 1 cloud versions transfers directly. You can buy everything together in one bundle or pick up each collection separately. Launching October 8th, 2026, the same week Kingdom Hearts 4 was shown in the Direct. If you've never played the series, this is the best possible starting point. If you have, this is the native Switch 2 version with all the content in one place, running properly. Onimusha Way of the Sword. Capcom is reviving Onimusha after a long silence, and the setting and lead character make this one immediately compelling. You play as a young Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary real-life samurai in a dark fantasy version of Kyoto that's been overrun by monstrous invaders from the underworld called the Genma. The combat is intense, swordplay focused, and built around the weight of individual strikes. On Switch, 2 Joy-Con 2 motion controls let you physically swing to fight, adding a unique physical layer to the experience. Capcom has been the biggest third-party supporter of Switch 2 by far this year, and Way of the Sword looks like one of their most interesting projects. A classic Capcom franchise rebuilt with modern production values, history-inspired setting, and tight action gameplay. It launches September 25th, the same day as other platforms. Dragon's Dogma 2 Dark Arisen was one of the deepest, most rewarding action RPGs in recent years, and now Switch 2 owners get the full expanded version on October 9th. You play as the Arisen, a warrior with their heart stolen by a dragon, on a massive open-world journey to reclaim it. The party system uses AI companions called pawns, who fight alongside you, learn from your playstyle, and adapt to different threats. Combat demands improvisation against huge enemies that require genuine strategy. Dark Arisen adds Norgan, a new frozen northern region with rare, powerful loot, ferocious new enemies, 12 dungeon challenges, and new cosmetics. If you've been waiting for a reason to play Dragon's Dogma 2, this is the definitive version. If you've already played it elsewhere, the new content adds meaningful new territory. Everything in one package, October 9th. The Duskbloods, a Switch 2 exclusive. A closed network test is coming this summer before the full game launches in 2026. The Duskbloods is a PvP-VE multiplayer action game set in a dark, gothic world where you play as a Bloodsworn, a vampire-like character with blood-based powers competing against and alongside up to 7 other players. You choose from over a dozen characters, each with unique weapons and fighting style, all competing to secure the first blood. The combat gives off serious Bloodborne energy, gothic brutality, blended with Elden Ring's fluidity. The world mixes Victorian Gothic aesthetics with strange sci-fi elements, jetpacks, giant moons, gruesome creatures. The network test this summer is the first chance to feel how it plays. The most unexpected exclusive in recent Nintendo history. RuneScape DragonWilds brings the legendary RPG franchise to Switch 2 for the very first time, and it's doing it in style. This is a survival crafting co-op game set in Ashenfall, a forgotten, fractured continent in the RuneScape universe where dragons have awakened and wild magic runs wild. You explore, gather resources, build shelters, craft weapons, and level 13 skills up to 99. There's a magic system called Anima that powers spells for combat, exploration, and gathering. Solo or with up to 3 friends in co-op, and cross-play is supported across Switch 2, PS5, Xbox, and PC. It's been in early access on PC since 2025 and already sold over 1 million copies, so the foundation has been thoroughly tested. September 15th is the full 1.0 launch date across all platforms simultaneously. If you like survival RPGs with deep skill progression, DragonWilds delivers a lot of game. Nintendo is going back to Woohoo Island, and this time, it's built for Switch 2. Nintendo Switch Sports Resort includes 12 sports. Tennis, volleyball, bowling, basketball, golf, archery, table tennis, boxing, skateboarding, power cruising, prop plane, jump rope, and thumb wrestling, all controlled through Joy-Con 2 motion controls. The original Wii Sports Resort is one of the most iconic Nintendo experiences ever made, and building that same feeling of accessible, fun, motion-controlled sports for a new generation is a straightforward but genuinely exciting idea. It launches October 22nd on the same day as Final Fantasy Resonance, giving that date some serious variety. Whether it's a family game night or just a fun, casual session, Nintendo always knows how to make motion-based sports games feel satisfying. An easy one to recommend: Lords of the Fallen 2. CI Games and Hexworks are following up the 2023 Souls-like reboot with a direct sequel, and Switch 2 is getting it at launch. Lords of the Fallen 2 is set 1,000 years after the original, in a world where the umbral darkness, the realm of the dead, has begun consuming every plane of existence. The dual world mechanic from the first game is back. You phase between the living world and the umbral realm using a lantern, using both dimensions for combat, exploration, and puzzle solutions. The sequel expands on everything from the first game with more lore, tougher enemies, and the demanding combat that defines the series. No exact date beyond fall 2026, but it's confirmed day and date on Switch 2, alongside all other platforms. For Souls-like fans, two massive entries in the genre, Lies of P and Lords 2, are both landing on Switch 2 in the same year. The Adventures of Elliot, The Millennium Tales. This one launches on June 18th. Square Enix and Clay Techworks built this action RPG set in Philadelphia, a continent overrun by beast tribes. You play as Elliot, an adventurer asked to explore newly discovered ruins beyond the last human kingdom's walls, accompanied by his fairy companion, Faye. A princess named Huria, whose magic protects the kingdom, supports Elliot's venture. The story is said to span over 1,000 years. Combat is real-time action, with both solo and multiplayer options. It runs on Unreal Engine 5 with a pixelated fantasy aesthetic that gives it a unique look. It's also on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. For anyone who wants a fresh Square Enix JRPG on Switch 2 right now, Elliot is already available and worth checking out. Devil May Cry 5 Devil Hunter Edition launches on Switch 2 at a locked 60 frames per second, both docked and in handheld, which is exactly what a game this fast demands. The Devil Hunter Edition packs in the full game with Nero, Dante, and V as playable characters, plus Virgil, battle tracks, character colors, and additional Devil Breaker weapons for Nero. DMC5 is the peak of hack-and-slash action. Every encounter is about aggression, creativity, and earning style ranks. The story follows a demonic invasion connected to a mysterious client named V, with roots deep in Dante's history that longtime fans will appreciate. The combination of three very different playstyles across the roster gives you a lot of variety in how you approach each fight. If you've never played it, June 23rd is the time to start. If you already have, it's a fantastic handheld experience at 60 frames per second. A brand new Fire Emblem, built from scratch for Switch 2. Fortune's Weave is set in the Dagdan Empire, where 4 heroes arrive to compete in the Heroic Games, a grand fighting tournament where the winner earns a single wish. Between battles, you recruit allies, manage relationships, and navigate the political landscape of the Empire. The gameplay returns to classic Fire Emblem turn-based tactics, grid-based maps, weapon triangle mechanics, permadeath pressure, and character bonds that affect combat performance. The tournament structure gives the story a focused, high-stakes framework from the very beginning. Fire Emblem Three Houses was one of the defining games of the original Switch, and this follows in that tradition, with a new world and new cast. A premium Dagdan Collection Edition with an art book is available. September 17th, Switch 2 exclusive. Star Fox will launch on June 25th, just days after the June Direct. This is a cinematic reimagining of Star Fox 64, the classic rail shooter that defined the series. Fox McCloud and his crew return with completely overhauled character designs, revamped stage visuals, detailed cutscenes, fully voiced dialogue, and a new orchestral soundtrack. The core gameplay is still the classic on-rails and all-range mode dogfighting, rebuilt to look and feel modern while keeping what made the original great. A free demo was available on announcement day. Star Fox Zero in 2016 is the last mainline entry before this, a 10-year gap. For fans who grew up with 64 or Lylat Wars, the wait is over. For newcomers, it's an accessible and exciting entry point into one of Nintendo's most distinctive franchises. Simple to pick up, satisfying to master. Lies of P Complete Edition, one of the best Souls-like games in years, is finally on a Nintendo platform. Lies of P is set in the crumbling Art Nouveau city of Krat, where mechanical puppets have gone violently mad. You play as P, a puppet who can lie, on a mission to find your creator, Geppetto, and save what's left of humanity. Combat is methodical and demanding, anchored by a precise block and parry system that makes every fight meaningful. The weapon assembly system lets you mix handles and blades to create your preferred fighting style. The Complete Edition includes the base game plus the Overture DLC prequel chapter. Digital August 6, physical October 2nd. The atmosphere is extraordinary, dark, beautiful, and deeply unsettling in the best way. A challenging, rewarding action game that absolutely earns its reputation. Splatoon Raiders is a different kind of Splatoon, focused on single-player and co-op adventure, rather than competitive multiplayer. You play as a mechanic, choosing either an Inkling or Octoling, and team up with Deep Cut from Splatoon 3 to explore the Spirolite Islands. There's a full single-player story alongside co-op for up to 4 players, with difficulty adjusting to your group size. Ink mechanics are still central to how you move and fight. A dedicated Splatoon Raiders Direct on June 30th gave a full breakdown of what the game includes. It launched July 23rd exclusively on Switch 2. Nintendo has always made the Splatoon world feel full of personality. This is the first time they've leaned fully into that world through a story-first experience, and the premise is genuinely strong. The end of the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy is coming to Switch 2, Day 1. No timed exclusivity, all platforms simultaneously. Revelation was announced at Summer Game Fest 2026, and it picks up right after the devastating cliffhanger of Rebirth. Cloud and the party are grieving. Sephiroth is closer than ever to godhood, and Meteor is already in the sky. The entire planet is now freely explorable aboard the iconic Highwind airship. You can skydive anywhere, from the sun-drenched Medial archipelago to the frozen northern continent, to the warrior nation of Wutai. Vincent Valentine and Sid Highwind join the active combat roster. The new Fits system adds a job mechanic where outfits change your moveset: Black Mage, Warrior, and more. 30 years of Final Fantasy VII storytelling reaches its conclusion in spring 2027. For anyone who started with Remake or Rebirth, this is the payoff. Nintendo closed out its June Direct with a tease for Xenoblade Genesis, a brand new beginning for the Xenoblade Chronicles series on Switch 2. What little was shown hinted at a world governed by a power called Anima, wielded by warriors known as Vesali, with a reference to the vengeance of a fallen god yet to be fulfilled. A pink-haired protagonist moves through sweeping open landscapes that feel unmistakably Xenoblade. That's essentially everything we know. No gameplay systems, no story details, just a title and a 2027 window. The series consistently delivers some of the finest large-scale JRPGs Nintendo has ever produced. A brand new entry built from scratch for Switch 2, with a confirmed director and composers, is one of the most exciting long-term commitments on the platform. Consider this a slow burn, but it's one well worth keeping an eye on. Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced back in 2022 and largely went quiet until the June 2026 Nintendo Direct brought it back, with its most substantial look in 4 years. Switch 2 is confirmed as a Day 1 platform alongside PS5. The story takes place in Quadratum, a mysterious city between worlds where Sora has awakened with no memory of how he arrived. New companions, new Disney worlds, and a revamped combat system are shown in extended footage. The visual jump from KH3 is massive, and the cityscape setting gives the series a grounded, cinematic tone unlike anything before. No release date yet. With the collection launching in October and 4 making a big comeback at the Direct, the momentum is real. For fans, seeing 4 resurface in this much detail after 4 years of silence is everything. Nintendo ended the June 9th Direct with this. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, widely considered one of the greatest games ever made, is being remade exclusively for Nintendo Switch 2, arriving sometime in 2026. The original 1998 N64 game has a Metacritic score of 99, topping the site's all-time list. It was the moment Zelda stepped into 3D Hyrule Field. Epona, the Temples of Time and Water and Shadow, the dual timeline structure, the ocarina itself. Nintendo showed a brief teaser with an updated Link design and a new art style, promising more details later this year. A ground-up remake of the most beloved adventure game ever made, built for the most capable Nintendo hardware. No specific date, no detailed trailer, just a confirmation that it's happening. That's enough. This is the reason people buy a Switch 2. That's 35 games, and honestly, we could have kept going. The Switch 2 lineup in 2026 and 2027 is shaping up to be one of the best stretches in Nintendo history. Let me know in the comments which game you're most hyped for. If you're new here, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next video.